And here we go, guys, the trade everyone was waiting for. Claude Giroux gets traded to the Florida Panthers at 50% retained, along with German Rubtsov, Connor Buneman, and a 5th-round pick in 2024 in exchange for Owen Tippett, 3rd-rounder 2023, and a 1st-rounder 2024. I think the funniest part about this trade is the 1st-rounder is actually top 10 protected. If it's a top 10 pick somehow, it'll be a 2025 1st-round pick. So the Flyers potentially just traded their captain, the face of that franchise for the past decade plus, for a kid who's potentially 14 years old right now. Pretty funny to think about. I think I mentioned my trading for Giroux video. I felt like Giroux was the #1 player on the trade block at this deadline. Speaking of which, if you guys want to compare the trades, in that video it cost Hornqvist, who is basically just salary cap, Heponiemi Noel, a 1st and a 2nd for Giroux. So Flyers definitely got back a bit more there. And honestly, that trade right now looks more realistic than the one that actually happened, especially when you look at all the other trades going on in the deadline. But anyway, guys, looking at the real trade here, Claude Giroux, 50% retained. I think, this might make the trade not work, but if that's the case, we'll just try and do something else here to actually take him back full contract. Now, I know a lot of people are saying Flyers got fleeced here, especially when you look at how much Lindholm just got traded for. Like, Lindholm got a better return than Giroux. Giroux, clearly the better player. Thing is, he had a no-move clause. He didn't have to get traded if he didn't want to. He could just play out the rest of the season, then went to free agency or come back to the Flyers. Whatever his heart desires. He decided he would go to Colorado or Florida, and then in the end, I think he chose Florida. GM's hands are kind of tied. He's willing to go to one team. He picks Florida. If that's the best offer Florida was willing to make, it's better than nothing. How they got Buneman and Rubtsov as well, I'm not too sure. Rubtsov, former 1st-round pick in 2016, 23.73 medium top 9 here in game. Buneman, 23.76 medium top 9 is a 4th-round pick. I'm not really sure why the Flyers had to add any, extra pieces here with Giroux. I guess the 5th-round pick is fine. Usually teams that are giving up a ton of draft capital at the top of the draft want at least a late-round pick back so they can hope to get, some decent prospect. But still, it seems like, they shouldn't have been adding. Also, I just noticed the 5th is 2025. So, yeah, speaking of 14-year-olds, they're trading away a worse 14-year-old for a better one here. Now, the big piece of this trade, obviously, is Owen Tippett. I was hearing on Twitter how, the Flyers were scouting him, seemed to like him. 22 years old, 80 overall, medium top 6, was 10th overall in 2017. I think with, a bit more ice time in Philly, he could become like a decent second liner. I don't think he's ever going to be like a first-line guy. Of course, too, they get a first-round pick, but not until 2024. One thing that's kind of funny, guys, right now, the Florida Panthers have no first-round pick for the next 3 drafts, which is a little bit ridiculous. And then on top of that, too, they get back a 3rd-round pick in 2023. So, I mean, when you look at that, I don't know. Now, Florida would actually be over the league maximum salary cap, even with Giroux at 50%. So I figured out the culprit, guys. Somehow Buneman's $750K extension actually is what's putting us over the league maximum salary cap. So I'm just going to find somebody making $750K for the next couple of years who hopefully has, neutral value. Dulp there. Hopefully that's the case. So he's just there, so this will work. The value is actually pretty equal in game. A bit on the Flyers side. I'm thinking they're going to say no, especially with Giroux at 50%. And they do. So one trade I want to try is add Hornqvist, who, again, is just there for the salary. And with Hornqvist out of the trade, we're going to try taking on Giroux's full salary. I feel like Flyers probably still say no to this. And yeah, they do. Which obviously means without Hornqvist in the trade, they would still say no, because he does have positive value there. If it was negative, it'd be just a sliver. He's actually got the same amount of value as Mason Marchment, surprisingly. After that trade, guys, here's what the Panthers lines might look like when they're healthy. Honestly, they're so stacked. Giroux, Barkov, or Hagee on that 1st line. Duclair, Bennett, Huberdeau on the 2nd. Marchment, Lundell, Reinhardt on the 3rd. Hornqvist, Achari, Thornton on the 4th. Are you kidding me? Every single one of those lines can score. Even the 4th line, you got Thornton there, who's a great playmaker still. Defensively, Weegar, Ekblad. Now, Ekblad did just get injured the other night. I'm not sure, how severe that injury is. If it's long-term, that's really going to hurt their Stanley Cup chances. Gudas, Forsling, 2nd pair. Sherratt, Montour on the bottom pair. Goaltending-wise, of course, Bobrovsky starting. Knight backing him up. So, yeah, the Panthers are stacked. They're definitely looking to go on a deep run here. Again, if Ekblad's out, though, I feel like all these moves they made, adding Sherratt as Giroux, they might not matter. I think Ekblad is such a big part of that team. I just noticed the guy's 89 overall doesn't have a zone ability X factor. That's a bit of a joke. But I'll give you guys your first look here at Claude Giroux as a Florida Panther. Definitely looks a bit strange. You're used to seeing him as a Philadelphia Flyer. Giroux 28 there on the Panthers. Not terrible. And now I'm going to try to trade from the Flyers' perspective. Of course, retaining 50% on the Giroux. Also had to add Zach Dahl to the Florida side. Again, somehow that 750K extension actually matters. So we'll see if it goes through. I don't know if I mentioned what the trade difficulty is on medium. I'm thinking Florida will say yes here, but the value is actually pretty equal. Trades accepted. Okay, so yeah, in-game they do think Florida won this trade, but the fact the values were lining up means they think it was pretty equal, where real life Philadelphia definitely should have gotten more. And that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section which team you think won the trade. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.